Codes channel. As you can tell by the title of the video, today we are going to be working through a little bit of a coding problem called MP3 codes. So I am currently on a programming team. At my college, plug Francis Marion University in Florence, South Carolina there for you. And this was one of the problems that we did for practice in preparing for this assignment. I thought it was kind of cool, so I figured I would share it with y'all and walk you through it in case y'all come in contact with any similar problems such as that. So let us go ahead and hop into it. Full disclosure, I have done this problem. So I'm just kind of beat, but it was a while ago. So as I go through it, I may relearn some of these things. I don't know. So we start out with, we're in Java. Of course, we have the public static void main clause open. And let's look at our problem and see what we have to do. So you are parsing through a massive music library of MP3 files from multiple albums of your favorite artist. You want to develop a program that's going to summarize the total songs in the time you possess. All right, input. So it's going to be specific format. There's going to be 5 words in each line, and that's going to be title, time in this format, album, genre, track, no spaces. There's going to be an underscore. Track is going to be our primary key. You may assume that no album has songs with the same track number. Duh. Okay, and we're going to end our input, it looks like, with a -1. Alright, so we should print out the total files in the collection, followed by a blank line, followed by the name of the album, colon, space, number of songs, comma, space, total time of the album in the same format. Album name should be, sorted by title in ascending order. Why you gotta be so dadgum complicated? After each album, you'll print out the title of each song. All underscores are turned back into spaces, and there should be no blank lines. Okay, so looks like this is what we put in. -1 is going to end our input, and then we're going to output a corresponding sample input of thus, like this. So it doesn't seem too difficult. Let's hop into this thing and see what we can do. So this one. All right, so obviously we're going to need a scanner to get some of our input. So start with the things that you know, right? So that's what we're going to do. That's not right. New scanner system.in, like thus. All right, and whenever we're going to have an input, let's call it string input. And I figure we're probably going to have an array list of some sort to store this. We're going to have to store all the songs when we pull them in with input. So let's make an array list of type string. And we're going to call that song info list. It's going to have all the info of all the songs. And we're going to create that as a new array list. Alrighty. Okay, cool. Now let's go ahead and make a infinite loop. I don't know if this is best practice or not, but we're going to go for it anyway. While true, the input will be equal to the scanner, next line. If the input equals, what is it going to equal? Say -1. Then what should we do? Let's break. We'll break. All right, and then song. If it's not -1, we're going to add the input to our song list. I think. Yes, that should work. All right, so that should get us our input in. So this is take input in. Always make sure to comment your code so you know what you're doing. All right, so I'm thinking we're probably going to need some song objects just because there's a lot of information to hold in each. What is this? There's a lot of information that we're going to need to hold in each thing. So this doesn't look like array list stuff. This right here, this each track looks like it needs to be its own object with these different fields in the object. That's what I'm thinking kind of off the top of my head. So I think it would be a good idea to go ahead and create a song object. So that's what we're going to do. And this song object will, of course, hold all this stuff in it. So let's go out of this class and let's make a new class called song. And in that class is going to be a bunch of junk. Make sure to keep these private for just good practice. And that way you can just access them outside of this class. So we're going to have a title. We're going to have time. We're going to have an album name. I'll just call it album. We are going to have a genre, right? And we are going to have a track number. All right. So now that we've declared all this stuff, declare stuff. All right. We've declared that. Let's go ahead and make a constructor. Okay. So that's going to be public. Let's call it song. Make sure to capitalize it. And we're going to put all this stuff into the constructor parameters like thus. Genre string track. Yes, that is all of them. All right. Now we have to have a way to access these, so we're going to need a bunch of this statements. This title equals title because of private. This time equals time. This album, of course, will equal the album. I've been sitting in this daggone chair too long. Genre, and this track will equal the track. Like this. All right, so we've got everything put in there for the song variable. Now we need, for the sake of completeness, we need getters and setters to access these variables. So I'm just gonna use some of this good old IntelliJ autocomplete, and we're gonna set all this stuff like this. So set track, set genre, set album. Oops. Set time and set title. Like that. And those are our setters. Now we have our getters. I don't know if we actually need any of this stuff, but we'll put it in there anyway. Get album. Get time. Oh, this is a lot of boilerplate code. And get title. All right. Zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, why not? I'm trying to zoom in because I don't want it to be all, you know, blurry on the OBS screen record. So we have made a song object, right? So now it's time for us to take that input and put it into the song object like this. All right. So we've got the input is sitting in an array list. We're now going to transfer that input and put it into a song object. So we're going to create song objects based on input in array list. That. All right. So how are we going to do that? Let's make an enhanced for loop. For string song, we'll call it song info. In the song info list, we are going to, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Let's make an array. Let's make a string array called song array. And we're going to split what is in that song info. So song info is just going to be one, it's going to be one of these. So we've got a list of a bunch of these, right? And this is going to be just one. So I say we split all this up and put it into an array. So we have an array where at index 0 there's title, at index 1 there's time, at index 2 there's album, and so on and so forth. That's the wrong thing to click. So let's split it at every space, because that's going to be how the input is. Or is the... Yes, that will be how the input is. Okay. Yeah, so there's a space, of course, right here after each one. So we're going to split it at the space. All right, now we can go ahead and throw that just straight into a song object. So we're going to call it song. Let's just call it song is equal to a new song of the class song, the object. And at each spot in the array, we will have something. All right, so that's going to be the title, right? And then we have the track. Then we have title, time, album, genre, and then track, like that. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So we've dumped all this junk into our song object. Now I guess we need an array list to hold all these song objects. So let's go back up here. Let's make another array list. Let's make an array list of type song. And it's going to be called, let's call it song objects. I don't know if these are the best title, these names, but I think they'll work for the purposes of the tutorial. And we will add that down here. A song objects. Array list of type song. So let's add this song that we have created, like thus. And if you want some of these cool code completions, it's not paid or anything, but get Codetta. It's legit. All right, so now we've got a song. We got an array list of all of our song objects. So now we have to get started with the fun stuff, which would be all the parsing and stuff. But it's going to be a little bit easier because because we've made objects instead of making multiple array lists storing all this junk. Because we've made objects, we can just call in the different indexes in each one of the objects and use get methods in order to pull out whatever we need to modify and edit and stuff. So first thing we need to know how many files we put in. So we put in 4 files here. We need to get that, and then we need to get total time. So we just basically need to add up or figure out a way to add whatever is in the first index. All right, because it's going to be title, then it's going to be time. I think is the way we set it up. So whatever's in the first index, not the 0, but whatever's here, we got to add all that up. So I say let's go ahead and let's find time first. Why not? Let's find time. Total time, actually. All right, so I think let's use an enhanced for loop, and we're gonna, for each song, so of type song, in our song objects. All right, let's make a time array. We need a time array. I think we need a time array. Yes, let's make a time array. I'll make it a final array list, right? Because you're not gonna, this is total time, so it's never gonna change once we get it. So let's just make it a string, because that's technically what the user's inputted is strings. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to add those as well. So that'll be fun. Adding strings together. We'll just parse them out probably. So we have that time array now. So let's take the time array and let us add let's add the song that way. So the song that's in the whatever song we're working with, let's get the time of it. Yes. Let's add whatever is in the time portion of it. Let's add that to this own array list, the time array. I think that's the way to do it. All right. So once we've added all the time of each song, then we're going to make a string called total time. and we're going to call a function, let's say find time, of the whatever's in the time array. I think that's the way we need to do that. That way we can kind of simplify our code a little bit. So now we're probably going to have to make a method for find time, which shouldn't be too crazy difficult, right? I'm trying to think. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a method called find time. So because it's only going to be accessed from the main, we can make it a private static. It's going to be a string find time, and it's going to take in an array list of type string, right? Because the time array is a string array list. Time array, like that. All right. So what do we need to do here? First thing we need to do, if I'm looking at this, we have minutes here separated by a semicolon, and then we have seconds here, right? So I think we need to split it. We need to split it at the semicolon. In doing so, we can isolate our minutes and our seconds. So let's make a string array, and we're going to call it split time. We're probably going to need that. I know we're going to need a minutes category, so let's go ahead and initialize that, and let's initialize the seconds like that. All right. So another enhanced for loop. Can't tell by now, I do love me some enhanced for loops. All right, so for every time that is put in the time array, what are we going to do? We're going to go into split time, and it's going to equal time.split at the semicolon. All right, so now we're going to have two things. Split time is going to equal split time at index 0 is going to be the minutes. Split time at index 1 will be our seconds, if I'm thinking about this correctly. So what we can do is we can add to our minutes that we've made. We'll just go ahead and use a wrapper class of integer, and we can parse the int at split time 0. All right. So what this will do is this will parse our minutes. Yes. For the sake of this assignment, we're going to assume that they're entering the correct input. We're not going to worry too much about input validation. But what this does is this uses a wrapper class, the integer class, to parse the integer that is at split time 0, because it is going to be type string, because that's what the user entered it as in a string. All right. So that'll take all. That's going to add up the minutes. So every single time we go through this, I don't know how to spell. Every single time, for every single time, we're going to split it up. Whatever's in the index at 0, we're going to add that to this minutes category right here. Okay. Seconds will be a little bit more complicated because we're going to have to do some modulo stuff with the 60 seconds, because that's a minute. All right, seconds. Let's see here. Seconds, integer. Let me just think for a minute. So this obviously won't work, right? There's something else that has to be done to seconds, because we have to worry about when there's 60 seconds. You know, we gotta switch that over and make that another minute. So how are we gonna do that? Well, we can add up all the seconds, and then we can convert them to minutes afterwards, right? It doesn't have to be done all right there. So let's convert those seconds to minutes. So after we've added them all up, let's say we have 300 and something seconds. Then we can convert them to minutes, take the remaining seconds, put them in the seconds category, and then take whatever we found for the minutes and just add that to the minutes, if that makes sense. So whatever the modulo is, will signify how many seconds are left. Okay. All right. I feel like we're getting somewhere now. I think. Oh man. So int, let's call it seconds to minutes. That's going to equal, if I'm doing my math right, that's going to be seconds divided by 60, modulo 60. So that'll give me that remainder. Where's my little there it is, modulo 60. All right. That will give me the minute number, and then seconds to let's call it seconds remaining would just be seconds modulo 60. Yes, that's right. I can't find my modulo sign. There it is. Okay. Jeez Louise, my neck. Alrighty. So we have seconds to minute, and we have seconds remaining. So this should give us a if we have 120 seconds, this will give us 2. All right. But if we have 121 seconds, this will give us 2, and this will give us 1. So we know that we're gonna have 2 minutes and 1 second. I'm thinking about that right. Okay. So after we do that, let's add all the seconds that were converted. And this is a good thing. I always do this when as I code, I'm going to comment, and then under the comment, I'm just going to kind of write the code, but it keeps my stream of thought going if I continue to comment as I go. So add all the seconds that were converted to minutes in the total minutes, which is this thing up here, right? Yes. So easy stuff. That's just simply minutes plus equals seconds to minutes. Whatever seconds went to minutes, we'll have those, right? All right, and another thing, we've got to think about one more thing. So if we have anywhere from 1 to 9 seconds, I think, looking at here, yes, all right. So let's say down in Brazil, that's 6 minutes, 7 seconds. We got the 0 here. So I'm assuming we're also gonna have to have that in the total time. So if it came down to a scenario to where we had any seconds under 10 seconds, right? We'd need to have a placeholder right here for the 0. We'd have to have a 0 placeholder just to keep the format in the format they want, which is minutes and then 2 spots for seconds. So I think we need to go ahead and add that here for the formatting purposes. Yes. All right, let's do that. So that's simple. If seconds remaining is under 10, then I need to put parentheses. What am I doing? Then we're going to return the minutes plus, let's say, this little thing right here, plus the seconds remaining, right? But if not, then we're just going to straight up return minutes plus this little thing plus the seconds remaining. All right, so that basically tells me if I have under 10 seconds remaining, I'm just going to add a 0 here to keep the format. If not, then I'll just return a second remaining and minutos. All right. So we have done that. What's next? So we have total time. We finished that method. So let's go back up here. So we found the total time. We put it in this time array, and we've made the time array. So this, let's call this method find total time. All right. So what's next after we found the total time array? Well, after each album, right, I think we're going to have to figure out a way. I got to think. Let's see. Yes, so right here. This is different than this. So we're going to have to clear the time array, I think. Because after we get done with one album and we go on to the next album, we're going to have a different time. So I think what we need to do is go ahead and clear this time array like thus. That way it'll start fresh. So clear the time array to get it ready for adding time of individual albums. Albums, like thus. So what that'll do is after we've got our major time, it'll clear it, and then it'll run it like a mini version of it for each album, right? So it'll run it for this album, then it'll run it for this album. If I'm thinking right, that's probably what we're going to end up doing. Huh. All right. What's next? Well, let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and say, all right. So let's go ahead and make. We know that we're going to start typing in output. All right. So I'm just going to do this. So I know that this stuff is starting to be output. Okay. First thing we need to do, obviously, we're going to print out the song object size. All right, so that tells me all the songs that I have in total. And then we're going to put the word MP3 files behind that. With a comma, isn't that what he did? I'm running a dual monitor setup right now, so I am checking this. Yes, so there's going to be space and time, which we have just established. And then the word of time behind it. All right, like that. And then we know that we need to have one line of just open space. And then we get started with outputting our specific album information. Okay, so let's find some unique album info. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I think we need to use a set because it has to be in alphabetical order, right? And it does it have to be in alphabet? Yes, alphabetical order. So if it's in alphabetical order, and it can't have duplicates, right? We can't have duplicate track names and track stuff. It said that somewhere in here. Yes, album names should appear sorted by title in ascending order. So we have to sort it. So we need to use a set. Is basically what I'm saying. I'm sitting here beating around the bush. So let's make a set. Let's call it album set. All right. So this will put us in. This will put them in the correct order because we see here, you know, E comes before N, right? So this will put the albums in alphabetical order. If we make this a tree set, like that. All right. So why did we do this? Alphabetical ordering and not allowing duplicates. That's why we did this. That's what a tree set will do for you, a set in general. Let me go ahead and import this. That's not how you import. Just import class. There we go. Another good thing about IntelliJ, they let you just auto import all that kind of stuff. All right, so another enhanced for loop for the song, and I have Stack Overflow popping up in the corner of my screen. For the song, in song objects, y'all know the drill by now with this. We are going to add for album set to album set. We're going to add the album, right? So song.get album. Yes. All right. So I'll put the albums in this set that we've created right here, this tree set. It's going to give it alphabetical ordering and not allowing for duplicates. Okay. So we've got the album set up. Now we have to have a song count. All right. As we see right here, it tells me how many songs are in the album. 1 is in this one. 3 is in this one. So let's go ahead and figure out song count. Okay. So let's have a variable called song count. Let's initialize it to 0. Let's make an array list. of type song. Let's call it songs in album. All right. And equals new array list, like thus. All right. Another enhanced for loop. My goodness, we are on a roll here. I think, yes, we need an enhanced for loop. So for the So this, let me think for a minute. This keeps track, not Terex, keeps track of how many songs are in each album. Okay. And then this will be keeping track of specific song. You know, I probably could just use a size. I could do a dot size. Yeah, okay. Full disclosure, there's probably a better way to do this, but the way my brain's thinking right now, I'm just going to kind of stick with this and see what happens. Yes. Okay, so for object. Object is kind of this overarching thing, right? So let's make an album in the album set. Yes, the album set that we made earlier. Up here. So for each album in the album set, all right, we are going to do some stuff. We're going to have to do some nested for loops here, I think. All right, so for each album in the album set, there's going to be songs in the album. So we're going to say for each album in the album set, for each song in the song objects. Wow, this is crazy if this works. If the song.get album equals album, all right, that we've established up here, this album, then what? Let's increase the song count, of course, and let us also add the time to the time array of that song. All right, so we've already cleared it from our initial, finding total time. So it's a 0 again. Whoa, where's my get time? There it is, oh, there at the top. I knew I had that in there. So what are we doing here? So for the album, in the album set, so there's going to be 2 albums here. We're going to have Eastern Rebellion and Nama, whatever that means. We're going to check the songs. All right, and if the songs album equals to this album, all right, then we're going to add the song count to that album. So it's going to go in under that album, and we're also going to add the time to that. So we're calculating each album right now, basically, is what this should end up doing. Yes, so this is basically adding up the time of the tracks. All right. But that's not all we need to do while we've got this song isolated. All right. If the song in album size is less than 1, so I guess we could just say, if it's empty, but we don't have to do that here. That's probably what it's complaining about, I think. I don't know. Anyway, songs in album dot add song. All right. Let's do it like that. So if there's nothing in the album, if the size is less than 1, then we're gonna add the song. You could also do, is songs in album dot is empty. All right. You can do the same thing. But like I said, I'm thinking a little bit different. Else, if this is where this stuff happens. Say integer.parseInt I'll explain it after. I'm in a train of thought right now, so let me get track is less than integer dot parse int songs. Daggone, okay, this is gonna be a long line. Songs in album. Get 0. All the beauty of object-oriented programming, right? Get track. Yes, I think this will work. This will work nice. This will work nice. All right, songs in album. Dot add at index 0. We want to add this, so we want to add it at the top. We want to add the song. All right. So, what did we just do here? What did we just do? All right. So we said if there's nothing in the album, right here. If there's nothing in the album, let's just add the song as songs in album. All right. But you see here, track numbers right here, 2, 4, 6, 2. We have to have these track numbers. They have to be in a certain order. Okay. If it's a smaller track number, it's got to go higher up in the list. All right. So we're going to parse integer the song dot, because you have to have an integer to use this comparison right here, right? This less than. So we're saying if the track number of the song, the current song, is less than the track number of the song currently sitting at the top of the songs and album array list. All right. So if this is at the top, right, at the time, we haven't even looked at this song yet. We haven't even looked at the This Guy's in Love With You song. So we just have these two songs. If This Guy's in Love With You's track number, which is 2, is less than what is currently in position 0, index 0, in the array list, which would be this, right, which is 4, then we need to add the new song with the smaller track number, meaning it's higher up on the list, like 1. We need to add that at index 0, so we need to add it to the top of the songs in album array list. All right. So in doing so, I think that will order. Our thing the way it needs to be ordered. I think that'll order the track numbers. It'll be interesting when we actually have to run all this. Full disclosure, when you actually are coding, you should test as you go, so you don't like break your code somewhere and not know what happened, because then debugging is an absolute pain in the butt. But I've already done this before, so I kind of remember how it went. So I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to work. But if you were doing this, for the first time, by all means, you should be, testing as you go along. Even if you want to use sysout statements, or if you actually want to go and, use debugging tools and stuff. Else, if it's neither one of these, we're just going to add the song to the end of the list, and I think that should handle it. And I think that should handle song count for us in each album. So let's see, where is this for? That goes for song and song. Okay, cool. So once we get to that point, we will print out the album, okay, because we know that S needs to be like this, like that, put a space, plus song count. We will have our songs decided by then, and plus define time. We always make sure to use methods. It makes your code a lot easier to read, and it's a lot more, by having all these different methods set up, you can reuse them, so that's cool. So we have the album, song count, and time of the album, and it should do this for both albums, right? And now I think it's easy, right? So once we've got that, we've got an array list called songs in album already set up. So that's all this stuff right here. And we already have it in the right order because of that, thing we did a minute ago with looking at the tracks and stuff. So now it's just a matter, I think, of printing this out and then clearing it and setting it ready for the next ones, setting it ready for the next album. All right, is that? Yeah. Okay. So it's technically we're still in this for loop, right? So all this operates on each album, right? So think about all this happening in one album. So we print this out. We haven't messed with the second album yet, so we're still on the first one. So for each song, in said album, we need to. What do we need to do? Give me a space here. Give me some space. For each song in the album, we need to print out what? We need to print out space, obviously. Like it said in the thing. And then we're going to get the track number, of course. And then we're going to put out a period, like so. And then we will get the title. Song dot get title. All right. And what else? Yes. Oh, I forgot. With title, we have to replace the underscores. We have to replace these underscores with spaces. All right, so how are we going to do that? Let's look at this. So that obviously happens in the title section. So there's probably an extension we use here. What can we do? A replace all, right? So song.getTitle.replace all. Yes. What are we going to replace? We're going to replace all of the underscores with, what will we replace them with? Spaces, right? Yes. Replacement will be just a space like that. Okay. And then plus another space, of course, and then the time of the song, which is just song.getTime, right? So that is a lot of code in one line, but it's either we print out a space, track number, a period, the title, but where we replace all of the underscores with spaces, another space, and the time, and that matches up perfectly with this, right? You have this space, track number, period, another space, title of the song, time. All right. And I think that should do it, other than we also need to clear everything out. So because of the way we've designed this, once we're done messing with this album, let's reset everything in the album to 0. All right. So we'll clear our time array out again. We'll set our song count to 0. And we'll also clear out the songs in the album. .clear, like so. And that will get us ready. Clear. Let's reset. Let's say reset everything to get it ready for the next album. All right. So that gets everything done. And I think I need to, yeah, I can save it. Cool. All right. So the only thing left to do is to test this jump and see if it works out like it needs to work out. So for this, let's see here. Let's run the code. It's building it up as we see. All right, we're going to Control V. All right, so this is the exact input that we were given as our sample input, with the -1 being in. So hopefully when I enter, everything will come out right. All right, cool. What we got? 4 MP3 files. Yep. 30 minutes, 44 seconds of time. Sweet. We have the track name, how many tracks are in the thing, and the total time of the album. This is the album name, not track name. My bad. Track number, and then the song. And we see that our underscores have been replaced with spaces, like so. There were 3 albums in here. Jeez, that's a hot mess, all that junk. But as you can see down here, and I know it's going to be pretty daggum small in OBS, but what we have here is our output, and it is correctamungo. So that right there is how you do the MP3 problem. And in the description, of course, along with my contact information and stuff, there will be a link to the page where I got this problem. So if you want to go and try it on your own, or you want to practice some of the other ones, I'm probably going to do videos at some point on some of them. You can do that. and I don't really have anything else. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, comment, subscribe, check out some of my other stuff. It would be much appreciated. And until then, I will see y'all next time. Peace out.